From Monday to Tuesday, you don't have any fun. From Wednesday to Thursday, just gonna out for a run. Friday and Saturday, you're always getting drunk. And Sunday, you stay at home and never go to church.
Welcome, My Night Outers. DJ Psycho Eddie here. We're having a little technical difficulty.
We're all beat.
Yeah, basically we're worn down to a nub, dried out and sticky right now. It's been one hell of a weekend. In studio today, by the way, the one and only, the ubiquitous.
Ubiquitous?
Yes, I'm pulling out all the 25 cent words.
Someone got a thesaurus.
We have Jim Nellis. No, I have never been attacked by a lizard who attacks with colorful language.
Right.
That would be the thesaurus. Also in studio we have Tony Jones. He's the one that makes me and everyone else sound oh so good. By the way, I'm going to get the announcements right out quick because we got a lot of stuff to talk about. If you want to be part of the show, if you want to send me some music to play on the show, you want to advertise, if you just want to promote something you have, one of your events coming up, MyNightOut Radio at Verizon.net. Look us up on Facebook /MyNightOut. Twitter and Instagram, both same name, DJ Psyco Eddie or MyNightOut RI. Okay, now they got the business done. In studio, we have probably one of the few people that has more restaurant knowledge than I do.
Oh, wow.
Well, you're dealing with a big guy.
But unlike me and you, he's under 350 plus pounds.
300? Yeah, keep going.
On a good day.
On a good day. My other leg weighs the same. But no. Yeah, Jim, I got to say, Jim, every time I see anything that involves food, you're usually involved.
Yeah, try to be.
And, of course, this is spawned into your namesake, well, not your namesake, but your current events going on with, wow, I just cannot talk today.
Right.
Rhode Island food fights.
Right,
Sorry.
right.
Brain is not working.
I'm with you, brother. Summertime.
Let me explain to the listeners out there. Last night, or yesterday, I should say, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I started DJing. The 4 bands in between, and I think the music stopped around 3:30 this morning. I slept on the ground in a juvenile-sized sleeping bag.
Right. Nice.
Yeah, I think I got about 2 hours of sleep, and then I had to literally four-wheel my way out of where it was. My truck, it was just one awesome event after the other.
I forgot how your wife specifically phrased it, but she said when you came up the driveway this morning, you looked like a prisoner of war who had just been freed.
Nice.
Yeah, I was absolutely disgustingly, just dirt caked on me. And it was not a pretty sight, but
it was a good time.
It was a great time. I got to meet Chuck Mosley, for the original. And in the, I think it was late 90s, they brought him back again.
Yeah, he was in there from like 85 to 88. They threw him out, but then from 2010 to 2015, they gave him his old job back.
Awesome.
It was Faith No More. Yeah. But also, he did an awesome set. Everyone that was there did an awesome set. And we only had like 3 minutes of rain for the whole night. So
perfect.
It cooled it down just enough. But we're not here to talk about music.
No.
We're here to talk about food.
Let's do it.
So I got to ask, right off the bat, what is the next Rhode Island food fight coming up?
The very next Rhode Island food, we have 2 next. So we have, in the month of August, we have the 3rd annual Iced Coffee Summer Celebration. And so we'll be printing the passports for that. This week we have 20 committed iced coffee shops, and we'll probably get 3, 4, maybe 5 more. And so it's the best iced coffee in the state of Rhode Island. Current champion is the shop on Wickenden, and number 2 is Vanuatu on Atwell. So try those guys; they're awesome. They're both back.
Oddly enough, I broached about this subject a little bit on Tony's show earlier. Time travel.
Right.
Right. I had actually hit both of those places within an hour of each other last year.
Nitro cold brew.
Oh my! I was absolutely buzzing. There's a really good story behind Vanuatu.
Yep.
Which I'm not even going to broach because he told me about a year and a half, 2 years ago, and I don't remember all the details. But long story short, he was at the mountain where the Survivor Series, Survivor Vanuatu was shot. Right. He went there. He found coffee there, and that's what got him going.
And it's my understanding that he owns the land he actually owns where the beans are.
Yeah, those are his beans.
Right.
That is his property that the beans are coming off of.
He and his sister. Yeah, it's really cool. So it's a great spot. And then the shop on Wickenden is it's an incredible experience.
Now I'm a big fan of coffee, anyways. Right. But there have been several places on the passports that I would have never gone to. There was one out in Portsmouth last year. What else is there in Portsmouth? I think there's 2 restaurants, 4 churches, and a coffee shop.
And then there's the one in Tiverton, the Coastal Roasters. Is just an amazing spot.
Beautiful spot too. Yeah, you're overlooking the water.
It's phenomenal. Yeah.
So, well.
And then following that, so we have August is also the first month. So August and September is the calamari throwdown. So who has the best calamari in Rhode Island?
Rhode Island state food.
Exactly.
So
state appetizer.
State appetizer. Sorry. Anyone that stands out now, or who was the winner last year?
With the winner last year I can see it in my face, in my head. Gare de la Mar.
Okay.
Phenomenal. I mean, spectacular. Really, really.
Unfortunately, I had to sit that one out because, well, I'm trying not to occupy as much space as I am, so I did have to sit out a few of the challenges last year. Right. But I think I'm going to hit a few of them this year with a vengeance. But I did want to switch gears really quickly because last week we were not on the air. We were at Rhode Island Paracon, the paranormal convention at the Assembly Theater in Harrisville.
Which, by the way, I'm told I did a great job at.
You held the chair, occupied that space beautifully.
Nice.
But what I did want to bring out is not only was it a great event, it was a charity event for the Rhode Island Coalition Against Domestic Violence.
Right on.
So you had us there, just at that, just being a charity event. But then, to tease us just that little bit, where I was positioned was direct line of sight to the Hawaiian Ice guy. The name of the business was actually the Cotton Candy Man. The cotton candy had to be as tall as the child that was carrying it.
Wow.
The Hawaiian shaved ice was amazing. I don't know if he makes his own flavors or he just gets a special blend, but the Hawaiian ice was excellent. And that was just one of the trucks. They also had Presto Strango coffee and teas.
Great coffee.
Actually, because we were promoting them throughout the day, they came over with some fruit-flavored and some mint-flavored teas.
Nice.
Here you go, guys. So
smart.
And I'm not usually an iced tea fan, but I actually ended up drinking 2 of those because it was so good.
They were excellent. Mm-hmm. Then we had on the first day was Elwood's Doghouse. The hot dogs that he had were not quite as soggy. They didn't have that snap, but they had that really good spice to them.
Yep.
And then his sausages, I don't know if he boils them first, grills them, but they weren't that dried out carnival sausage that you have to try to break a tooth to get through.
Squeaks when you bite into it.
And there were none of the little, some people call it cartilage, I call it the nubbins of love in the sausage. He had a really good sausage that he was selling, and at the end of the day he was selling it for $4 a piece, so
nice.
Awesome price. Now, those were the honorable mentions.
Right.
The 2 that really stuck out for me for the whole weekend was Rocket Fine Street Foods.
Right on.
They have burgers there that are absolutely amazing.
They're great.
The Gemini, which I believe Mr. Jones had, was basically in a sheet of cheese.
And I got it with no fixins, so I just had bun, burger, cheese. And fantastic.
Yeah.
Just absolutely fantastic.
Well, there's a lot to be said for just the just plain.
Yeah.
You don't have to dress it all up. You just a nice, very utilitarian, good burger.
Yeah.
Which brings me to a place I stopped on Friday beforehand because I had to go up there Friday to set up for Paracon.
Right.
There's this little hole in the wall in Pasco, Rhode Island, called the Pasco Cafe. Now, I'm probably going through Pasco once or twice a week, and I stumbled upon this. I was DJing a party, and you're hungry, have a burger.
Sure.
Well, they have a special for $6. You get a burger, which is to me it seems like an 8-ounce patty.
Yep.
However you want it, with fries and a beer for $6.
Nice.
So you can't beat that. Plus, they have $1 drafts, $2 drafts.
Yep.
So
perfect.
And again, it is a very good utilitarian burger.
It's great to find spots like that.
But it's good because it's not overdone. They're not trying to put sparklers on it or anything else. This is here's your dinner, and it's really good.
Yeah, perfect.
By the way, I know you put out the post every time you do a food fight. Who do you want? Those are my 2 for the burgers. Again, that would be Pasco Cafe and Rocket Fine Street Foods. But yeah, I have my list over here. I'm going to turn the computer. You can read it too if you want to chime in. But We had a great time at Paracon, and like Tony said, he did do an excellent job. But we're going to take a break here, and we're going to point the fingers directly at you for pretty much the rest of the show.
I'm going to carry it.
You're going to have to, because I'm dragging right now. We're going to leave here with a song from The Lonely Machines. The name of the song is Please Forget Me.
You said you'd always be there, and I said I'd stick around. Well, we both know that was just a lie, brought upon my edge of ignorance. Time will make these memories gone, but I'll always still think that it's you. It's you said you'd never leave me, and I said I'd stick around for a while. Well, it turns out we forget with time and grow tired sitting in the same place. A river pulls the petals away. Maybe someday I'll forget. It's
All right, that was The Lonely Machines. Please Forget Me. You're listening to MyNightOut Radio on Rhode Island Free Radio. In studio, we have Jim Nellis from Rhode Island Food Fights.
And James Nellis and Andrew Nellis.
That's right, with the two very quiet kids that you do not hear in the corner right now.
Heirs to the Rhode Island Food Fight throne.
That's it. You are heirs to the kingdom of Rhode Island Food Fights. And I got to give them credit. I just asked them where you were taking them for dinner, and right off the bat, Chef Maria, El Rancho Grande, that was just blurted right out. It wasn't, you didn't prime him on that.
No, James just turned 11, and so he got to choose where he wanted to celebrate his birthday dinner.
Birthday dinner to boot.
At El Rancho Grande.
Oh, happy birthday.
And now he wants to go back. Yeah, he loves it. I do too.
Now,
So does Andrew.
obviously they like it because that's where he wants to go.
Right.
But how adventurous are you? Yeah, I'm talking to you, not your dad. How adventurous are you when you go to El Rancho Grande? You get the same thing every time?
What is it?
What do you get? Nachos with everything?
What else? Nachos with everything, but not hold off on the lemon or the lime.
Okay.
He's very specific in his ordering. It was incredible. And they're gracious, so gracious. It's really good.
It's good that you're exposing them at a young age to more than the king, the clown,
right,
the colonel.
Right.
You know, get them knowing what good food is now.
Yeah.
So later on in life, you know, you're not going to be traumatized by their food choices.
Fair enough. No, they do a great job.
Speaking of trauma in food choices.
Nice segue.
Yes, thank you. I've been working on that one all minute and a half.
Right.
I was going to talk about your on-location events, the cookie challenge,
Right.
the cupcake challenge, the ice cream challenge.
Right.
Now, these are notorious for selling out relatively quickly.
Pretty quickly, yeah.
What do you attribute the success of that, other than the stuff is really good?
Yeah, I think it's a great value. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's what I think is really interesting as a promoter or a marketer is that the three different events bring three different crowds. I mean, there are more than a handful of folks that go to all three, but by and large, there's 80% of the folks that earmark the cookies or cupcakes or the ice cream. So it's and the other thing is, now that you asked the question that it dawned on me, is it's a family friendly event there, and
which is hard to come by, actually.
Yeah.
Being in Rhode Island, you would figure, at least 30 to 40% of what's going on is usually adult oriented. I don't want to use that
Giggity.
in a negative connotation, which Tony just has to run headlong.
I just automatically pictured the beaded curtain, adults only.
Right.
But no, it's tough to have something relatively inexpensive that you bring your kids to.
Right. Yeah.
And I was fortunate enough a couple years back to bring my nephew to the Cupcake Challenge.
Yep.
And you don't know how hard it is to fill a 16-year-old boy with cupcakes.
Right.
But somehow he managed to get to the point where he could not eat another cupcake on a bet.
Yeah, it's fun, and kids have a great time, and the parents have a great time. And it's a window of time on a particular day that parents can schedule to bring their kids, and that's what it is. I think that's what the success is.
Now, was that what you intended it for, to have, or it was just?
No,
hey,
it's fair to say that everything that, I mean, I made a few business decisions along the way, but by and large things happen because they happened, and I think what I can take ownership of is noticing that they do happen, and then trying to amplify that component.
Okay.
And so I mean, the last time I was involved in the food business, I was 14 years old and worked at Dairy Queen, and truly, and so the flavor of sundaes that we had when I was 14 years old: raspberry, butterscotch, wild cherry, pineapple, strawberry, chocolate, vanilla, banana, walnut, blackberry, hot fuzz, and chocolate chip. And that's the extent of my culinary schooling. Was that, and as far as event management or event production, I have none.
Well, technically you can go to school for that, but
Right.
in reality, unless you're doing it,
Right.
you don't know what you're doing.
No.
Doing the events that I've been doing lately, you can tell the people who have done a lot of events and the people that only do 1 or 2 events a year.
Right.
And it's not that one is any better or worse than the other one, but you can see the amount of stress that people are going through.
Sure.
Borderline on a nervous breakdown over. You want to chime
When
in?
the eye starts twitching,
Well, I just, so I think the first event that we did was a cupcake event, and there was a small venue. It was at the Spot, and Nick Cardy, I ran into him the other night at the Best of Rhode Island party, and so it's a 350-person venue at the time. They've since moved. And when I arrived at the venue the day of the event for load-in, there were people lined up waiting outside to get. So this is an hour and a half before the event starts. It's already sold out. These people have tickets, but they're waiting in line an hour and a half before it starts.
You know, I got to say, this is one thing that I would like to see more of, tailgating before a food event.
Nice.
I think Rhode Island Free Radio should start working on that angle of tailgating before the Cupcake Challenge.
That's a good call.
I remember speaking on event management at the old station. Jim had come in the night before an event, and as we were on the air, he looked at his cell phone and he said, well, my milk vendor just pulled out for the next day. I mean, probably 8 hours away.
Right.
Oh, my God.
And so, so getting back, so it's like, and that happens. And so, okay, the very first, so I'm checking, you know, I have a clipboard at my first event because I figured I needed a clipboard. And I'm checking off the bakeries as they come in. And I have everybody on my list checked in. This truck pulls in, a van pulls in, and they get out and they start unloading things. And I forgot the bakery. I forgot. And so I went up to her, and her father was the owner, and the father and her family was with her. And I walked up to her and I said, I want to tell you something before I start, that it's going to be okay. And I said, can you believe that? And she said yes. And I said, okay, I totally forgot you, and give me 5 minutes, and we're going to make it better. And her father started to say something, you know, to defend, and she looked at him and said, Dad, we agreed that everything was going to be okay. And they said, okay, here we go. And I went around to each different bakery and told them the situation, and everybody donated a component, and she was able to have a setup equal to everybody else's.
Nice.
And so at that point, I realized that, you know, you can worry about it. You want to be organized. You want to do everything you can on the front end, but things are going to happen, and just fix them and move on.
Well, at day of the show, day of event, it's always the Band-Aids that you got to throw on.
Right.
And nothing ever goes through 100% without a hiccup.
Right.
So.
Expect it.
Oh, expect the unexpected.
Right on.
That's like a Monty Python skit, isn't it?
We have a friend that has a major blowout between the beginning and the setup time for every single event. That
I was not going to go there. But yeah, we have a friend that will literally melt down and send one member of his staff, usually the same member of his staff, trucking back to wherever they came from, whether they're in Providence or if they're in Worcester.
Right.
You're going back because you forgot it.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I always do the idiot check.
Yeah.
You look around, make sure you have everything in case you're
right.
an idiot when
you
you
do your
packing.
best.
and I learned that the hard way. I have music equipment all up and down the East Coast. I mean, like, I've just left stuff
Right.
everywhere. It's not so bad when you leave it at home, but when you leave it at the venue,
Right.
you're never going to see it again.
Well, that depends. Myra from the Evil Streaks had forgotten her guitar.
That's right, yeah.
Forgotten her guitar at Blazes Billiards. Fortunately for her, at the time, I was the operating manager
Nice.
for Blazes Billiards. So, well, Blazes is now closed, but I got a phone call at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, which, if you're not dead, you're
Right.
pretty much going to be if this
Right.
call isn't important. And sure enough, is my guitar there? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's locked up. It's in
Yeah.
the back.
You're
And
good.
the next day, she was there. She picked up her guitar, and she
Right.
could not say enough thank yous because
Right.
she has a beautiful guitar.
Nice.
Well, why don't we take a break here? Unfortunately, these people are now defunct. However, their music still really kicks.
Very cool.
Again, Children in this Corner. I cannot say the rest of that. But we're going to listen to the October Accord. We're going to do a double shot here. We're going to start off with Better Off Without You. We'll be back in a minute.
I used to think my life was perfect when we were together. Why would we be together again? I get too close when I'm painting a picture of a perfect future, but I'll never paint it again. night. I have no place to go. I'm standing all alone. I thought I tried my best. Thought I fixed my mistakes. Guess I messed up somehow. Where did I go wrong? They say I'm no good, but I just hit the pain. Wanted to, no one help me. Don't know where I belong. Can't stay here anymore. Just get me out of here. 'Cause I'm on my own. It's time to death me. I feel that I can't breathe. I need a place to go. 'Cause I'm on my own. I tried to let you go, tried hard to move on, but you just stuck around. Now I'm all alone. We used to be so close, we used to be so strong, but then we said goodbye. Where did I go wrong? No one wanted to, no one help me. Don't know where I belong. Can't stay here anymore. Just get me out of here. 'Cause I'm all on my own. It's time to death me. I feel that I can't breathe. I need a place to go. 'Cause I'm all on my own. We used to be just fine. I had to cross the line. I feel so alone without you. Come back to me. Don't know where I belong. Can't stay here anymore. Just get me out of here. 'Cause I'm all on my own. It's time to death me. I feel that I can't breathe. I need a place to go. 'Cause I'm all on my own.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was, distracting at best. See, right now my computer's acting up, and I can't really figure it out, but I do know that was the October Accord, doing a double shot of the October Accord. The song you just heard was On My Own. Before that, you heard Better Off Without You. In studio, we have Mr. Jim Nellis of Rhode Island Food Fights. Now, if you want to be part of the show, if you want to get on like Jim here has, or if you just want to send, well wishes, you want to send some music, you want to advertise with us, you just want to get your events out there, hit us up, MyNightOutRadio@Verizon.net. Check out our website, MyNightOutRI.com. Facebook /MyNightOut. Twitter and Instagram, both DJ Psyco Eddie and MyNightOut RI. Now, I'm going to sidetrack us a little bit. I am a breakfast animal.
Right on.
Now, again, you got two kids over here on the side who have been awesome.
Right.
What is your go-to breakfast?
Where?
Where?
Oh, okay. So I would say kitchen.
The kitchen.
Kitchen. It's on Carpenter Street behind the Grange on the west side.
Yep.
It's a tiny spot. I think they have 2 booths and 2 tables, and but when you say where do you go, I do not plan to go to kitchen. It's phenomenal.
Yep.
It is also tough to get in.
Well,
So, I mean, right. But so I have learned to manage expectations. So I don't say, let's go to kitchen. I will often drive by kitchen. And if there's not a line out the door, then whoever's with me will jump out and go
Get
see
in line.
further. Yeah.
or
And
try to get in line at least.
Right. So kitchen's number one. Kitchen's if you have a shot at going, go.
So kitchen is the goal.
Right.
What's the backup?
Good call. So North Bakery, I find myself at North Bakery.
Okay.
The Easy Entertaining on Valley
Yes.
is a great
They have
spot.
an awesome BLT there, by the way.
They do a lot of awesome things. I'm forgetting folks I know. Rancho Grande has a great brunch. The Dorrance has a phenomenal brunch. Shoot, where else? Well, we went to IHOP today.
Well, actually, I was bringing that up because I was at the Classic Cafe yesterday morning.
Right.
Right. I don't even know. It's right over the 4 or 5 way intersection
Right,
of Cranston
across
Street,
the street from
Westminster.
Citizens.
Exactly.
Yep.
And they have a breakfast there called the Hashita.
Okay.
Corned beef hash,
Yep.
poached eggs, and tortillas.
It's a great spot.
It's a huge breakfast. For the price, it's absolutely phenomenal.
Right.
And now there's lots of these oddball rules that we'll bring out. If you listen to the show any length of time, you'll know most of them. First off, if you're taking your life into your hands to go for a meal, it's going to taste better.
Right.
Number 2, if you
Right.
go to a place that has a phenomenal breakfast, the coffee, not so much.
Yeah. Good call.
However, there are a few places that break the rule,
Yeah.
and I have to say, Classic Cafe is one of them.
Nice.
My wife and I go there a lot more than we should.
No, it's good. It's and you know, so a lot of times I get asked a question, you know, where do you go for, and I blank, and then when or forget or leave off from the list. But when you mention Classic Cafe, it's a home run.
Well, I got to say, especially people in our position where we are inundated with different restaurants,
Right.
food, you just can't remember because there is just so much you can't put your finger on just
Right.
one.
I'll be
that's really good.
I'll be driving home, and I go, oh my gosh, I forgot. They're gonna kill me.
There will be no punishment for anything left off,
Right. That's right.
but now
But breakfast is awesome.
we have a lot more upcoming.
Hudson Street Deli for breakfast.
Hudson Street Deli.
Sorry about that. I go there every morning.
See,
do.
breakfast is a treat for me. I love breakfast food. I don't like the hours that breakfast is served.
Right.
So it's I really if I'm up and out and about to get a breakfast, I do want a really good breakfast. I don't want an Egg McMuffin or, you know, slop from the truck stop.
No, that's another thing I was going to bring up, that, you know, it is the start to your day. If you're going to treat yourself, if you're going to go a little heavy on a meal,
Right.
I like it to be breakfast so that way you don't eat the rest of the day.
Sure.
Speaking of places with large lines, Jigger's Diner in East Greenwich.
Sure.
I'm heading there for breakfast. And get another situation, great breakfast. Coffee needs improvement. Who's in line? About 15 people deep, but the sitting governor at the time, Link Chafee, who I'm friendly with. And I'm thinking, if the governor can't get a seat for breakfast,
Right.
maybe I should look for a backup.
Exactly. That's great.
But no, that's another great point. But the trying to get all these different restaurants organized into one of your food fights.
Right.
That's just an undertaking. Do they volunteer? Do you call them, or is it a combination of both? Or
Well, it's become a combination of. It's evolved into a combination of both. I would say that with the Big Burger Blowout, maybe 50% of the participating restaurants reached out to me. But you have to imagine when Rhode Island Food Fights just got off the ground, if
Yeah,
I
not
had
so much.
if I had a dozen bakeries show up at the first event, I bet I pitched 100.
See, as a guy that does occasional sales, I can just picture those first few cold calls of, you
Right.
want a what?
Right. Oh, but even prior to getting the restaurants involved, I realized Rhode Island Food Fights was it was an idea, and so the first I reached out to Providence Monthly
Okay.
to see if they would be a sponsor of the events, and they said, well, tell us more. And I said, well,
That was it.
right. I just did. And so, so I suggested we have a sit down, and they obliged. And between then and then, I was able to put together a pitch, and they were gracious enough to get on board. When I reached out to the Yacht Club Soda to be a part of the cupcake
Which
event.
I got to say is a phenomenal addition to any of the events that you have.
To anything, to everything.
Now, I think Tony had the grapefruit soda.
Actually, I had my first grapefruit soda at the Cupcake Wars.
Okay.
And the food truck over the last weekend, Rocket Fine Foods, they were
Right.
selling out a soda. And she was kind of like, do you want a grapefruit soda? I was like, yeah, I've had it before. It's awesome. But she was like reluctant to sell it to me.
Right. And so the Scambato family is the owners of of Yacht Club Soda. It's a 101-year-old business. They're just the most gracious group of people, and they've been on board from the get-go. One of the cool things that I've been able to do that kind of is they've recently come out with a new flavor, blue raspberry. And I was able to sample the blue raspberry before they even had a label.
Oh, wow.
So it's kind of big, what does that mean? It means
You're turning into the big shot in
right,
the food industry.
exactly. So that it's fun. It's all fun. And New Harvest. Sorry but I'd be remiss if I didn't throw it to New Harvest Coffee Roasters too.
They've been at a lot of the events that I've been to for you. And
Once they became part of the process, they have been to everything. At every event, Rick Kleinfeld is just a super nice guy. His entire staff.
Well, you got to imagine if they're drinking coffee as much as they're making coffee, they're going to be a little bit on the perky side.
They are definitely perky, and they are hugely civic minded. They're incredible, and the product is phenomenal.
Now, do you find that the Rhode Island businesses are more philanthropic? People they're more willing to help all these causes that are coming out, or do people have their own core cause?
No, I mean there's a mixture, but the folks that I deal with are lucky enough to deal with. If I'm find a group of if I find a cause or a cause approaches me and I'm involved in it,
Yep.
then I'll pass it to my folks to get them involved as well.
Yep.
And it's not a hard sell. Rick is like if you think if you're involved, I'm involved.
Cool.
And same with Yacht Club. If you're involved, I'm involved. The restaurants are definitely it's a long-winded, stuttering answer to yes. They're super kind.
Cool. Well, why don't we take a break here?
Before I lose my mind.
Oh, I lost mine a long time ago. Right. Join the club. Well, we're going to leave here with a song from the Trophy Wives. The name of the song is Vanna.
I've got a story for that when we come back.
You're listening to My Night Out Radio. We'll be back in a minute.
Looking for
Welcome back, My Night Outers. DJ Psyco Eddie here. Well, we've been talking to Jim Nellis quite extensively throughout the show, and I think I'm going to give him a little bit of a break. Stuff that he's already well versed in, because thankfully he's been carrying us all night, because my brain is absolutely scrambled.
A lot of weight to carry.
But what challenges, what food fight challenges are coming up? I mean, granted, you have the coffee challenge.
Iced coffee, calamari in August. Iced coffee August, calamari August and September. We've got the pizza.
Oh, yeah.
Is in November. We've got cookies in December. We've got wings in January, grinders in February, cupcakes in March.
Now, if I wanted tickets, well, not me personally, because I know how to get tickets the easy way, but if I was someone who did not know you, how would I get tickets?
The best thing to do is to follow us on Facebook. So it's facebook.com/RIFoodfights, or go to rifoodfights.com.
Okay.
And you'll find the tickets.
Very good. And any plans for adding in a different food fight? Something that
Always.
you haven't.
Always. We're working.
Do you have anything on the back burner you want to give us a little sneak preview on?
We're working with the PVD Lady Project to put together a woman-owned food fight, a woman-owned restaurant food fight, something along those lines.
Okay. Because I think I was one of the first people to call you out in April. You tried to do a millennial-owned.
Right.
And we all know that most of the millennials are not as ambitious as Mr. Jones.
Those damn millennials.
We'll talk about something else. So I've got one for you. So September 24th, I believe, is the date. It's the date of the Brown-Harvard football game.
Okay.
And Brown Athletics has reached out to me and wants me to put together a tailgating party.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's new and different.
How big of a tailgate are you planning on doing?
Oh, it should be pretty big.
Sizable?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
If you need any help, you know
Right
who to
on.
call.
Right on.
We could definitely flood you with the music and
Very cool.
unsavory anecdotes.
Awesome. No doubt.
All right. Well,
That was a sigh.
well, I'm sighing because my brain is just
I'm
scrambled.
with you, bro. That's totally cool.
I just need a hug, a hot shower, and go to bed.
Hot shower first.
Okay, we'll go with that. If you're hugging, you could make all the rules you want. But
How was it put earlier from your adventure from the weekend? You had troll feet.
no, I've already taken one shower today because when I get home from the music scene camp out
Right.
is what he coins it as. Now, we are literally 15 to 20 minutes in a four-wheel drive, actually having to be in four-wheel drive to get to the location.
That's crazy.
People who did not have four-wheel drives were ferried in by other people who had them.
That's
We got about 125 people,
That's
4
awesome.
generators. We had literally national acts, people from national acts. Chuck Mosley from Faith No More. We had Mark Rizzo from Soulfly. We had Rob and Opus from Dead by Wednesday.
That's crazy.
And yeah, like A-list stellar performances.
Wow.
And we're literally in the middle of the woods.
That's awesome.
I don't know who. There must be like one of those magic 8 balls,
Right.
But it just tells you, 5 different things, or spin the wheel, pick 5 different things, and we'll add it all together.
Yeah.
Like we'll have a camp out with music,
Right.
by a stream,
Right.
20 miles off the road. But it
pulled
worked.
it off.
It worked well.
You realize the apocalypse could have happened while you were all down there.
Right.
And you would be the last people on Earth after you came out.
Well, honestly, the
rapture.
All right.
The rapture. Either way, I.
You know, you all would still be here.
Right.
But anyways, yeah, it was a phenomenal weekend, and because of where we were, there weren't really carpets.
Right.
There was dirt, there were
Yep.
trees,
Yep.
and there were people.
Fair enough.
And one porta potty. So things got very creative and very very unsavory all at once.
Well, I was hungry.
I want the toilet paper concession.
I brought my own roll.
There you go.
Trust me, when I'm going to the woods, I am.
BYO.
Talk about going in the woods. We got to do that here.
Right.
Oh, he's not kidding. Look up on the shelf right there behind the headphones.
Nice.
We do have to supply our own here. But, Jim, I can't thank you enough for coming
Dude,
down.
My pleasure. Thanks for inviting me.
Your boys have been nothing but a pleasure to have them in
Thank
the
you.
studio. They actually behave better than most of the guests we have.
Very good.
Tony, again, thank you very much for making me sound as wonderful as I do. I want to thank the listeners for, well, putting up with me for another week.
Nice.
I can't wait to go put this put this up on Facebook when the final cut to see if
Right on.
what Tony edits out of it. Hopefully a lot. But we're going to leave here with a band, Torn Shorts. Now, I originally said this wrong. I said Brown Street, but it's actually Brow Street.
Cool.
So, Torn Shorts, Brow Street. You've been listening to My Night Out Radio, only on Rhode Island Free Radio. Thanks for listening, everybody. Have a good night.
Thanks, everybody.
I was never ready for the big show. And the older I get, the less I grow. Kick me to the street, now I'm crying poor. As I watch her mouth drop right down to the floor. Drink that scotch she says before the bad news. That's why I keep crying the night sky blue. Oh, I was never ready for the big show. The older I get, the less I grow. Yellow school bus, it's a card from us. I'm not gonna make it today, I'm not gonna make it tomorrow. But it would be so nice if you could save the backseat for me. How poetic would it